Of all Harry and Meghan's bombshells, this one has hit hardest.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What? And you're not going to tell me who had the conversation?
I think that would be very damaging to them.
With speculation exploding over the identity of the culprit, Oprah appeared on Breakfast TV to help narrow it down.
You asked Harry about it when he came out. Did you all have another conversation about it?
He did not share the identity with me, but he wanted to make sure that I knew, and if I had an opportunity to share it, that it was not his grandmother nor his grandfather.
The allegation is sending shockwaves throughout the Commonwealth.
How they were talking about their son, about how their skin colour was like really hurtful to a lot of people, to be honest.
So it doesn't make sense to us. Yeah, it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's like an abomination or something of some sort.
I think that is below the belt. That is pure racism.
But not everyone was won over.
I'm angry to the point of boiling over today. I'm sickened by what I've just had to watch.
I just don't understand what they thought this was going to achieve.
Was it really necessary to have done this at all?
With the public firmly taking sides, there's pressure on the palace to respond. But so far, the firm is staying silent.
We're joined by our UK correspondent, Lucy McDonald. Lucy, are we any closer to finding out who made those alleged comments about baby Archie?
No, well, we know that Oprah said that it wasn't the Queen, it wasn't Prince Philip, but we also know that it's going to be devastating for that person if they're revealed. So we presume it's somebody high up in the royal family. Is it Charles? Is it Camilla? She was pictured looking very stony-faced in a car in London yesterday. Is it William? I presume it's not Kate, because in the interview, Meghan said that she was a good person. So we just don't know, but it's incredibly damaging. And it suggests that there's racism at the heart of the royal family. And I just can't forget, at the centre of this is poor little Archie, a boy, a young child whose skin colour was already being talked about by the British establishment before he was born. So the allegations are damaging, they're heartbreaking, and I think there really is an appetite that we need to know who said this.
Lucy, the revelations have kept coming overnight. Oprah revealed some more details about the interview, including that Harry had tried to approach the Queen to talk about leaving the royal family, only to have her people stop that. Have a look.
Doesn't the Queen get to do what the Queen wants to do?
No, when you're head of the firm, there is people around you that give you advice.
Okay.
And what has also made me really sad is some of that advice has been really bad.
When do you think we are going to hear from the Queen?
Oh, slowly does it. This is the Queen. But I kind of think in the past there's been this sort of studied indifference sometimes from the royal family, almost thinking that they're above it or they can get away with it. This time, no. There were crisis talks all day yesterday, apparently with the Queen, but she's holding off on a press statement. I presume she needs to get this right. She knows how important this is. So she's demanding a little more time. There were also pictures of Kate yesterday in London in a car looking pretty stony-faced. So I think the real heart of the royal family is being drawn into this. But like Harry said, there is this kind of sinister idea of the firm, these kind of shady people in the background who advise the Queen, who advise William, who advise Charles. So we just kind of need to know a little bit more about them, about the decision-making role of who the firm are. But yeah, it's extraordinary. So I suspect there can't really be a vacuum in media terms. The Queen needs to make a statement quite soon. When that will be, I don't know. Otherwise, the Twitter furore, the international story is just going to go on. And there's no opportunity here for silence. There's no opportunity here for indifference. She needs to make a statement. It needs to be a good statement. I would suggest that there needs to be a proper investigation into what's happened.
Lucy, the thing that just made me so sad was thinking about the breakdown of the relationship between Harry and Wills and everything they've been through. There's still those that aren't on board Team Harry and Meghan, and now those that are like, oh, Kate was the one that made Meghan cry. Which couple comes out of this better, and what happens to them, do you think, is a foursome going forward?
Oh, I think the days of them as a foursome going forward seem to have, long gone. I think the thing about this is all speculation. You have all royal experts talking, and everyone really is reading between the lines. But I think there definitely is a big split between Harry and William. And I think Harry has really come into his own with Meghan and that idea of emotional intelligence. He seems very happy with who he is. In that interview, I felt he looked very sad, but he feels freer. He's kind of how he sits and everything, he seems freer, whereas William is very, very much trapped in the establishment. He can't leave. And I imagine, again, this is me speculating, but I imagine there's a huge amount of jealousy from William. Not only that, Harry married this independent, beautiful woman, but he's escaped. He's living the dream in LA. He's escaped potentially this tabloid hounding of him after this. He's escaped this kind of life of duty, this life of being continually under scrutiny. So, we all think back to those two boys walking behind the coffin and see how close those two were. And even when the four of them got together, there was this they did that joint interview, and it felt like a real moment of coming together. But yeah, it feels like things are very damaged. And think about the children, the cousins also, there's a real split. Will it be healed? I don't know. The next few days are going to be very interesting.
We'll be talking about it for a generation to come. Lucy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You sat down with your cuppa last night and watched it, Hugh. What did you think?
Yeah.
Did it change your mind at all? Did you go in with a different view and come out different?
I think there was much more in it than I expected. And I think the racism stuff is the stuff that really sticks around because it matters for the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is, for the most part, brown-skinned. I don't get the feeling that Charles is a racist man. I thought one of the most touching things of the wedding, we now know they're already married, but the wedding, the big public wedding they had, was when he was so kind towards Meghan's mum, and by trying to draw her in. And just there seem to be elements of that sort of charm. But Harry's right on this, that all those female MPs from Conservative across all the Labour things came out and signed the same thing because there was so much stuff going on with Meghan Markle in the papers, the way in which there was this kind of underlying racial content to the way in which she was discussed. All those MPs, Harry pointed out, called it out. No one from the royal family called that out on the part of the press. And he said that hurt. And I believe he was telling his truth when he said that hurt. And I think that will resonate out over the next weeks and months.
What about you, Liz?
Oh, God, I think it's devastating. I feel the sorriest for Will out of this. He's clearly trapped, and it's almost like now that Harry's gone, Will has to stay there and he can't get out of it. So I've got to say I'm not a massive lover of the royal family, but I feel like there's a real human story here and we're only just starting to scratch the surface of it. And it shows that, any family can be like this, but that anyone can escape from it. So I'm really pleased for Harry and Meghan that they've decided to move out of this family. And I can't imagine being Will and Kate and really feeling trapped by the tabloids. That was the thing that really struck me about this, was the feeling that Will and Kate and Charles and Camilla are trapped by the tabloids and they're scared of them.
I saw a funny tweet today where someone said, how has Harry managed to get out from under the monarchy before we can? And I thought, it's crazy. You never would have ever thought 5 years ago that we'd see Harry leave the royal family.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't even thought you could do it.
He doesn't need a majority of the states to get out.
With so much content online, it's sometimes hard to keep up with it all. And let's face it, who has the time? The Project YouTube has you covered with the stories that matter. Hit subscribe for a daily list of the news that you need to know.